Africa's climate ambitions are currently under the spotlight as leaders, investors, as well as policymakers all prepare together in Cape Town for the Green Economy Summit 2026. And with climate finance meeting only a fraction of the continent's needs, the summit will then focus on turning big promises into bankable, investment-ready green and blue economy projects that can actually move from planning to actual delivery. Well, from on this, let's extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Iain Banner, the founder as well as chairman of Africa's Green Economy Summit. Iain, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. So talk to us about this great initiative as well as its intended objectives. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you and to your listeners, and thank you for having me on your lovely program. We started initially with Go Green Africa, which is a matchmaking platform to bring polluters and solutions together. So that is a not-for-profit that fortunately is progressing nicely. And then we have 4 table legs, and one of them is the summit you referred to, Africa's Green Economy Summit, AGES, the acronym. We're staging it for the 4th time, 24 to 27 February this year, at the Century City Convention Centre outside Cape Town. And listeners will be familiar, I'm sure, with the mining Indaba. Just think the equivalent of the green economy mining Indaba. That's what we're after. We connect global capital with African green economy opportunity to grow the green economy and to create jobs.
That's great, Iain. Now, I just outlined some of the key focus areas of the summit. But Iain, let's maybe talk about the climate finance, especially at the back of those devastating floods that have wreaked havoc on key infrastructure. Just yesterday, I was actually speaking to a guest about the need of the continent to invest in climate resilient infrastructure and that it is a bit too late to catch up as a continent. So these are critical discussions that actually need to dominate those at the helm of decision making.
Without doubt, this idea that, climate change doesn't exist, etc., is a complete nonsense. And what I say to people who tell us scientifically there are 10,000 or 20,000 year cycles where the climate warms up and cools down, we have 8 billion people in the world now. In 20,000 years ago, we didn't have 8 billion people facing these consequences. We've got to clean up our act, and we need to start taking note of the fact that we as humans have the ability to impact the climate very, very significantly. And the way to do that is not to say down to fossil fuels. They've played an important role to get us to where we are, but is to rather say yes to green alternatives, of which there are many. And for Africa, if you consider, 600 million people are without power in Africa. They're living off wood-based fuel energy, which pollutes terribly, etc. There is no doubt that the green economy and solutions that tap into the green economy are the solution for Africa.
You're speaking about solutions and implementations and making this summit more than a talk shop, Iain. So how will all these solutions be implemented post the summit? I mean, you have all the relevant as well as key role players in attendance to make for speedy implementation. I was just talking to my colleagues there. Of course, the ANC Lekgotla is currently discussing an implementation plan that is going to carry South Africans forward ahead of these upcoming local government elections.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. The way we structured our summit, you go to conferences, they're great, and you have the plenary sessions, and it's all about a talk shop. We think that is important, but we think that equally important is our workshop, where we have pitch stages, where this year we, at the moment, have 57 companies, green economy companies and blue economy companies, pitching to capital, live pitching, with investors sitting in the audience. 10 minutes you get to present your case. We've got deal rooms, we've got matchmaking rooms, we've got speed dating rooms. And the whole idea is to not only talk about the green economy, but it's to talk about funding the green economy. And we have some fantastic projects that are ripe and ready for funding that are going to help provide solutions in the future. And at the end of the day, it's about job creation. And that is the single most important aspect of our country right now, is creating jobs, particularly for young people, so that we can grow the economy, create more jobs, and bring people out of a very difficult situation where they can't find employment.
I mean, Iain, talk to us about what other projects as well as information will the attendants actually benefit from? And also talk to us about the running program of the entire summit. How long will it take? How can those that are interested also interested to take part be part of the proceedings?
Thank you very much. Well, firstly, just Google Africa's Green Economy Summit. Have a look for the summit program. Click on it. You'll get all the information. But in summary, it's the plenary session that I spoke about. It's some very deep, well-intentioned breakaway sessions that deal with specific targets. I'll give you an example. Africa is positioned, in my opinion, to be one of the climate finance champions in the future. We currently are totally underfunded relative to the risk that we take on. The rest of the world's pollution, we contribute 3 to 4% of the world's pollution. Yet we are burdened by the world's pollution. Look at what's happening in the northeast of our country. Look at what's happening in Mozambique. Look at what's happening in Central Africa, right across from the east to the west, floods, etc. While here down south in the Cape where I am, we're facing drought, difficult conditions. So Africa possesses the biggest asset of all, and that is what I refer to as nature-based solutions. So if you take the Congo Basin, for example, everyone knows about the Amazon, but not many people know that the Congo Basin is equally large. It stores 33 trillion tons of carbon, and it adds about 1.8 trillion tons of carbon annually. There is a terrific asset sitting in that can now be monetized. What's been lacking in carbon projects, carbon offset projects, there's been a total lack of trust for good reason, because you have cowboys hijacking these programs. They are becoming more sophisticated. And rather than suggesting what you're going to achieve, you're now carefully measured in terms of what you achieved, and that can translate to funding. And what does that mean? That means we can protect our large landscapes in Africa. It's the last continent that can do it, because people can stay locally. They don't have to urbanize. They can be part of hospitality and game ranging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nature-based solutions, which is appropriate to Africa. And I'm very excited about that potential.
Absolutely. As we push for those internal solutions to internal problems, Iain, that's a great initiative. Thank you so much for, of course, that enlightening engagement there. That is, of course, the founder as well as chairman of the Africa's Green Economy Summit, Mr. Iain Banner, talking to us about some of what you can enjoy as soon as, of course, that summit kicks off.